start, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of course, His Excellency Antop Christensen, Ms. Lisa Dino, and of course, Ms. Mercedes Cabral. Thank you very much for coming today and for joining us as we launch the second Danish Film Festival in Manila. We are very fortunate to have, of course, our leading actress, Ms. Mercedes Cabral, today. And we hope that you'll be able to join us as we show or screen 11 of Denmark's finest films. And we look forward to seeing everyone from the 29th of September until the 2nd of October. And I'm sorry that our manager isn't here today, but I'm sure she would have loved to welcome you all. And I guess all there is to say is thank you for coming and welcome to Shang Cineplex.
Thank you very much, MJ. Again, thank you very much to Shangri-La Plaza and Shang Cineplex for having us here. May I now call on the Film Development Council of the Philippines chairperson, Ms. Lisa Dino.
Good morning, everyone. His Excellency Ambassador Jan Top Christensen, we had a very good talk just a while ago. Miss Marlene Duwalan, she's not here. Of course, fellow actress, colleague, and our lead actress for this film, Rosita, Mercedes Cabral, and Shandy Bacolod, our manager. Members of the Diplomatic Corps, do you have anybody here? Friends from the press, colleagues, hi. The FDCP is happy to join the Embassy of Denmark on their second Danish Film Festival after a successful maiden edition last year. We acknowledge, of course, and always give thanks to Shangri-La Plaza. Since I became chair, I've been a chair for 4 weeks. I've been to Shangri-La Plaza so much, I feel like this is like a second home. 2016 marks the celebration of 70 years of diplomatic relations between Denmark and the Philippines. On our end, what better way to celebrate such an occasion than through the power of film? The festival is an avenue which we are able to strengthen cultural ties between our two countries, and by inviting our audience to revel in these stories from Denmark, the growing bond is only deepened. Such an example of these cultural relations is the film Rosita, directed by Danish filmmaker Frederik Asbok, and starring, of course, our very homegrown Filipina actress Mercedes Cabral. The FDCP welcomes such film collaborations, as it is our goal to promote and encourage more partnerships and co-productions between the Philippines and Denmark, hopefully in the next 3 years as chair. Again, congratulations to the Embassy of Denmark, and thank you to the Shangri-La Plaza. May this second edition of Danish Film Festival be as successful as last year's, and we look forward to many more. Next week, we have almost week-long screenings of the Danish films and Filipino films at the Cinematheque Manila, so hopefully you can come by and catch some of the films. So thank you, everyone. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lisa Dino. FDCP they have been an integral part of the embassy actually since the beginning. This partnership would not have been possible if not for the Film Cultural Exchange Program, right? So thank you very much, FDCP. May I now call on Mr. Ambassador Jan Top Christensen to say a few words.
Good morning to all of you. I'm happy to see a crowd of journalists and film-interested media present here today. It bodes very well for the Danish Film Festival. This is, as was mentioned, the second one. Just one simple word of caution. When we say Danish Film Festival, we want to, all of you, remember that Danish means being from Denmark, not from Netherlands. Again and again, we get into contact with people and say, okay, this is Danish. So you are from Holland or Netherlands. No, we are actually from Denmark. As late as And yesterday I was in a department talking to some officials, and they had made this mistake about Danish and being from the Netherlands. So this is from Denmark. Remember that. First, I want to say special thanks to our key partners for this event. It's Xiang Cineplex, and thank you for hosting. As last year, we are very happy about that. And thanks for partnering with this and making this possible. This is extremely well received by us and very much appreciated. I also want to thank the chairperson of the film, the new chairperson, at least for the coming 3 years. We are looking very much forward to the cooperation with you. And as already we discussed in the lobby, maybe we should look into ways of establishing a cooperation where Philippines and Denmark could inspire each other. I think there's a potential for that. And I would say that actress Mercedes Cabral has shown the way by being part of a Danish film, and in that sense also showing that it's possible to have this kind of cooperation. And I would see at all levels. Just say a few words for Danish films, on Danish films in general. Danish movies are well known outside Denmark today, in spite of the fact that Danish films are normally being shot in Danish language. And Danish language is a strange language only spoken by some 5.7 million people in a remote, cold corner of Northern Europe. Luckily there are subtitles, so other than Danes would be able to understand it. Danish films have over the years won many international awards in Europe, in the US and in other parts of the world. Danish film directors have become internationally known, just to mention a few: Lars von Trier, Thomas Vinterberg, Ole Bornedal on the male side, and on the female side, I could mention Susanne Bier. She was the director of The Hunt that was screened last year and won an Oscar in 2011, I believe. And just a few days ago, she was actually again in the news because she won an Emmy for her TV series. She was directing The Night Manager, which is, I believe, an American series, but she was the director of this film. I do believe that the success of the Danish film industry finds its origins in the establishment of the state-run Danish National Film School that was established some 40 years ago, and also through the Film Act that was put in place in the 70s, and thereby also establishing the Danish Film Institute that is co-financing film production, giving support to production of films and propagation of films internationally. I do believe it's important that we have this government support to film production and propagation, because otherwise Danish films would not be able to compete internationally with the mainly American-dominated film industry. And luckily it's possible for the film industry to know that there are funds available, because both the film school and the Danish Film Institute are every year on the financial law. So there's a long-term perspective in this production, and people can make plans and therefore also develop a long-term strategy. What could be done in the Philippines in this context, it doesn't necessarily have to be government funded, but if foundations could get together and create a solid basis for long-term development of indie film production in this country, it could further benefit the film industry and the success of the Philippine film industry.
It's very, I think all of us have some experience living in the province. In our province, it's quiet, it's extremely hot. So I guess it's in contrast or contradicting to what Denmark has to offer, where it's also quiet, but it looks extremely cold and dark and gray. And, that's what you will be seeing here during the film screening of Rosita. All right, may I now call on, before we start the Q&A portion, maybe I should call on Mercedes Cabral to maybe just say a few words about the film.
Good morning. Well, I'm really not really comfortable speaking in front of a lot of people. I'm not used to this, so and it's sad that the director is not here with us. But thank you guys for giving us your time and being here with us this morning. Um, for an actress, for an actor, it's just a privilege to have been given the chance to work with great actors like Miguel Folsgaard and Jens Albinus. Jens, I consider him as one of the really intense actor that I've ever worked with. And they're really patient with me and understanding with my experiences too. So it's just really an honor to be working with them and to have been given the chance to meet the other Filipinas and learn their stories and to be a part of this film. Like I can say this is different from what I've done before because it's something real. Like there's a realness in it. It's really simple, but emotionally it's really heavy. So just thank you so much for being here. Well, language-wise, it was a challenge for me because it's hard to learn Danish in small period of time because the way it's written, you can't read it as it is. So that was a real challenge for me. But they were really nice enough to give me an interpreter and help me study how to speak it. So yeah. The weather, it was really, yes, it was my first experience to see snow and feel the weather, like winter. So that was, and it's just gloomy almost every day. So I was like, it's real different from where I grew up. So, but I really enjoyed it. Like sometimes, especially when it's summer here, I'm looking for the cold weather.
Just want to follow up. Like, what did you take away from seeing the way Filipinos live? Yeah. In Denmark. What did you learn about their lives there? That you put into your role?
Well, I've worked and I've met a lot of Filipinos too, not just in Denmark but in other countries too. Everywhere you go outside the Philippines, all the Filipinos, like they just group together and they just do that everywhere they go. They can easily adapt and they look for each other for support. So it's it.
What can you say about the Danish film industry? I know we've heard of it from the ambassador, but I'd like to know what you think about it.
As an actor, acting wise, it's really different. Dito kasi sa atin, iba yung formula na hinahanap. Like, yung na-experience ko doon is really subtle. And dito kasi sa atin, natutunan ko pala doon na you can't just be an actor without like any degree kung hindi mo pinag-aralan. Dito kasi sa atin, sumali ka lang sa like mga reality shows, guwapo ka, maganda ka, may chance ka na maging actor. So, that's one thing. And yun nga, yung acting requirement na hinihingi nila, it's really subtle. So doon ako nahirapan mag-adjust din. Kasi nasanay ako dito sa atin na, especially with TV. Like you have to really act and be not na hindi mo exaggerate, but yun lang yung level na challenge ako na I need to level out with these guys. So, yeah.
Actors
Yes, I think so.
I also think so.
Yes.
I have no other information that.
Because I was just wondering if there are 11,000 or 12,000 Filipinos in Denmark, maybe one of them already starred in a Danish film.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if
Yeah.
this is the first time.
To my knowledge, it's the first time, but I would not exclude that you are right that because a number of Filipinos have actually lived for decades in
Right.
Denmark, and it could be the case that that it has gone unnoticed by me and others. Because you asked this question, I'll try to trace it so I can come up with a more intelligent answer next time.
No, the reason being I asked that, Ambassador, is because are we looking forward to more Filipino actors participating in Danish films in the future?
I think in general you'll see more involvement by both first and second generation and third generation Filipinos, because I think we are actually also reaching third generation Filipinos. As I explained, in December there will be this cultural show, Pinoys, and that's people with a Philippine background, but most of them grown up in Denmark and in Nordic countries that will come here.
Naman to be screened or showcased in Denmark?
I would hope so, Ambassador. This is actually what I've been proposing. I've been attending a series of embassy festivals already, and I'm just amazed by the countries we've been hosting already, hosting their films and making it available for the Filipino audience. It would be equally important if we can find audience, if our own Filipino filmmakers can find their audience beyond Philippines, and what better way than to be part of film festivals, not just international film festivals, but Filipino film festivals held in different countries, catered to the citizens from that particular country, and maybe in Denmark, Ambassador.
Nice. The Woman Who Left and Hele. The theme, the topics are very provocative. Is it the same as Danish films?
I think next week we'll be featuring these 11 films, and some of them I am sure will be seen as pretty provocative, also seen from a Philippine perspective. We were actually discussing among ourselves at the embassy whether we should dare screening a couple of these films. So yes, there's a long tradition also within the Danish film industry to be also provocative, but also raising issues of all kinds, personal issues, issues for communities. So I mean, in a way, provocations at many levels, right? It can be personal level, group level, society level, and yes, I mean, there's definitely free speech in Denmark and free expression, and it's very much used in Denmark, also in the films.
Thank you. Mercedes, my question for you is, you did Sakal Bamboo in Saudi Arabia, and then you did Rosita in Denmark. And in the process, you learned about the culture of the country. What other cultures are you looking forward to participating or immersing in the future? Hollywood, maybe? I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe. I'm interested. Hopefully,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be given the chance to work over there too. So, yes.
Is there a project coming up in Hollywood? Can you
not-
already announce it, or is there something? Is there an offer, or?
Huh? Oh yeah.
There's already an inquiry,
In
okay.
Texas, pero yun pa, hindi pa final yung script. So, and ang masasabi ko lang, it's about a mail order bride too, but it's something different, mas darker, and kakaiba naman to. So, yun.
Alright, thank you.